Hey everybody, it's the Football 360 Show. I'm your host JP Rock, here with Matt Bierman as always. Happy Tuesday to you, if this is what you're listening to on a Tuesday. It is the Football 360 Show, the fastest 48 minutes of football talk on the planet. You hear us here, you're probably watching us here on YouTube or X. You can listen to us on Spotify as well as Apple Music as well, and hear us on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. on KLIS 590 AM, your Lou Info station, louinfo.com. Mr. Bierman, how we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm
doing pretty good. I was just out on the road for a week, so just got back into town. Of course, have to do the show. And I'll tell you what, it's great to be on the road. It's great to be having fun and visiting with all the people, meeting everybody. But man, there's no place like home, and nothing like your own bed after after a week.
Oh yeah, man. Well, you know what? I do certainly enjoy traveling, but man, I tell you what, you get done with it, you're like, all right, I'm back to reality. Let's get settled back in and get it done.
Right, absolutely, and
the year, man.
Yeah, especially this time of year. So, I mean, since I was on the road for the past week, I'm going to have to rely on you a little bit to do the football roundup because I know you're on top of everything. I paid attention to stuff. I know we're going to be talking about the Mizzou double overtime win. Of course, we said they should win down there, but it was close. And then, of course, last week of regular season football is upon us, and so that's kind of wild.
It is hard to think. We're starting to look at stuff for the fall. I mean, excuse me, the end of the fall into the winter.
Yeah.
And before we know it, it'll be Lindenwood camp time again. I mean, it's just one endless cycle.
It's crazy. I got my regular elite football email that I get, and I was looking through it, and of course the Boom tryouts of November 21st, and then
Boom tryouts. I mean, there'll still be some kids playing, obviously, which do a second one, which is then there'll be even fewer kids playing at that point because it's after Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving. But yeah, I mean, it's here, and we got people hitting us up about tryouts. We got people about the combine. The combine date's already set for March. It'll be like the second weekend of March. So, and the next thing you know,
that's wild. Yeah, it's wild. And I tell you what, I come back to cold weather, and I know you guys had some rain issues and some games actually had to get moved.
Yeah.
Because of it.
A lot. I mean, there was a lot of junior games like on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Those pretty much mostly got canceled, if not moved to Sunday. And then obviously like MICDS and St. Dominic played yesterday at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Nothing like an anticlimactic 3 p.m. showdown on a Monday.
Isn't that wonderful?
And it's so windy. I mean, yesterday.
I was going to say, yeah.
I had a freshman game that I coached in yesterday, and it was definitely, the wind was a factor. I mean, we throw the ball a lot, so it affected us. We still score a lot of points, but it didn't
change your game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things you got to adapt to. And then you look at like Friday, potentially there's going to be some rain.
All across the state, man. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, come on. It's like a 75% chance of good, heavy rain in Kansas City.
Then that can affect the outcomes of games. I mean, you got teams that are built more for, the early season when it's warm and, a little bit of wind, if not much wind. And then you got, maybe a run-based team that's strictly just does not pass hardly at all.
Yeah.
It definitely goes to their advantage.
You have a freshman quarterback with a pretty strong arm, though. Did you guys still chuck the ball?
Yeah, of course. We still got
to. You're like, yeah, we adapted a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, the first pass, a slight roll to the left, and the wind knocked it down and kind of off the field, like because he had tried to put it to a guy that was moving across the face, and the look on his face was of pure disgust. Like it came off his hand, he was not happy. And then we had a next play, or 2 plays later, we had a 4th down and long, but we were like inside the 30.
Yeah,
put it down to the 1 back shoulder on the goal line, kept it on the field, and that was kind of the beginning of the putting pressure on, which was good because you got to throw in those. But I will tell you, Sunday at training at Elite, we took all the quarterbacks outside It was really windy on Sunday, so we all threw in the elements, which a lot of them had not thrown really in a windy situation since last year or the springtime.
Right.
And that worked really good because I know a lot of those, especially, I mean, we have such a really good freshman class of quarterbacks. There's probably 15 of them, and they are really good. But we got those guys throwing together, and all the good, really good seniors from around the area are in. Just kind of watching film and throwing balls and doing their thing. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Sweet. So yeah, it's big games this past week. I didn't get to see them, but I heard about them. And what was really cool was that CBC SLU game. And I don't know if you got a chance to hear or see any of that at all. But SLU was probably the best opportunity to give CBC a game this year. But CB still came out and handled business. And I believe it was 37, might have been 37, 37-0. And SLU is just loaded with athletes, has D1 linebacker / wildcat / wide receiver, Mr. Everything, Keenan Harris, talented senior quarterback, talented wide receiver, and Zach Allen, who just committed to Lindenwood, made his flip from Northern Iowa. Second time I've messed that up. And so, SLU just loaded with athletes. But as we spoke about last week, CBC just has talent, in droves. And they have a superstar in Nick McClellan. And, Courtney Rivers is a D1 guy committed to college. But, they're a program team with really good football talent. And that's tough to beat.
Right. And I will tell you, I went to the game because we played our Thursday night game, and it turned out really good because I don't get to see many Friday night games other than ones I'm helping in. But both teams were very hyped. You could tell it meant a lot. It was for the SEC title,
right?
It got really, really
chippy.
Chippy fast. But there was a few, it was a slow beginning because there's a lot of penalties.
Yeah,
that can happen. The referees kind of interject in the game and show them who's can control, and it was it ended up slowing down. The calls slowed down, but it was a really good game. CBC is just relentless. Their D line was constantly in Ellaby's face, and they shut the run down pretty well, and then it became a couple big plays. SLU did not execute and just didn't go their way, and so that
would think, or possibly they've had the past.
It just was one of those things that did not go great for them. I'm sure there's some plays they wish they got back. I mean, there was a really good play that Jaden Reed made on a deep ball where he was kind of out of position and beat, jumped and knocked it out. If he doesn't, it's probably an early score for SLU. And SLU also had a drop touchdown that was pretty wide open. I felt horrible for the kid, but those things were, it was just execution, right? And sometimes they go your way, sometimes they don't. And up until that point, clearly for SLU, they've been rolling pretty hot, and so I'm sure they're going to regroup and get ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, and Nick McClellan is just a force to be reckoned with, and like I said, CBC, Coach Pingle has had that program rolling for a while, and the talent just keeps coming. I mean, each year they just reload with guys because basically, and CBC usually has one of the top freshman classes every single year from the junior football.
Yeah, they do. They've got a really good freshman team this year. I think they had last year, and they have a lot of kids that'll play up on JV as well. So I think they got some really good weapons on their JV. I think they had a battle yesterday with Jackson. He went into double overtime. So,
yeah, they lost in double overtime. But I'm going to tell you what, Jackson has a really good program as well, and young talent coming up. I know you're familiar with Max. Is it Thibault?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Young quarterback. I think he might train with you guys.
Yes.
Italy.
So, he the quarterback yesterday in that JV game?
Yeah. To my knowledge, he was.
Yeah, because they have They're good. I mean, they're both their freshmen and their JV team are really good. Obviously, their varsity team's really good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so both those programs just keep rolling. And of course, both programs are 8-0. You know, undefeated. On the other side of the state, Blue Springs South took it to Blue Springs in cross-time rivalry battle. I think it was 35-7. And you know, both those teams are just really rolling. But I got to tell you what, you know, we had the 3 top teams in the state head coaches on at the beginning of the season, but you really have, you know, you don't know just how good the football is in the state. I know some people have anointed certain teams. Oh, they're going to roll, but man, you know, any team could really kind of jump up and bite you.
100%. I think that there's been case after case this season where you're like, oh, that team's going to win. Next thing you know, you're like, wow, they got them.
Right.
So there's a lot of parity. I think, you know, obviously there are some private schools and some bigger public schools that have some really solid teams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole mix of teams that are like below that are pretty dangerous, right? And I think that's the cool part with the playoffs as you get in your district. You know, I mean, you could debate the district breakdowns. I mean, there are some that seem abnormally packed with really good teams.
Correct. Yeah.
Like if you were just a little foresight to look at it and say, okay, hey, historically, these teams are this and this. And I don't know the process of how they assign districts, but there are some definitely weaker districts, and there's some really strong districts where I think some unfortunate teams are going to get bounced early that probably, had they been in a different district, would have some, you know, runway to get going and actually make a run.
Right. And I think, you know, one of those districts that's kind of interesting to me is District 8 in Class 5, where Platte County, who's 8-0, and I mean, they've just been rolling people. Haven't played the strongest schedule, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens when they hit, you know, the district playoffs. They're 70 to nothing over a team last week was the score. I mean, Rocco Marriott, who we're going to talk about, who's just blowing up. You know, West Virginia offered, UCF offered. There's other big schools that are sniffing around who will probably offer. But you and I had mentioned before about Rocco in the summertime, because we know Rocco. Rocco Kane was an MVP at the Elite Combine in March of this year. You know, we both know Rocco's dad, and we've had conversations. And what's playing out is exactly what we had said back in March. If not before, what was going to happen is Rocco was going to, you know, eventually have the P4 schools coming after him.
Right. I mean, he's a guy that obviously tests extremely well. He puts great results on the field. He's all the height, the weight, all the things you want.
All the measurables. Yeah.
And then what's crazy is this spring, you and I were talking to him, and schools would come in, and then things didn't go his way, right? Or they'd watch more film or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, hey, James Madison sees something. They love him. He commits, which is a great commitment for them. And but then, you know, in this world of, you know, nobody's safe, right? No recruit safe.
No
program safe. If they want you, they're going to come after you. And so that's why I always tell kids, especially now, like back in the day, a commitment was a commitment. And now it is, I hate to say this, a placeholder for a lot of guys, because the truth of the matter is things are going to change coaching wise, or can change coaching wise.
As we've seen already.
Change roster wise for that school that you're committed to.
Right.
And then, you know, position coaches are coming and going. Head coaches are coming and going. And next thing you know, you're not committed to the place that you were going to go to, right? Like it's a different program now. And so I think keeping options open, which I love the loyalty component. Like if the fit is great, there's no reason to entertain anything else. But there are so many variables now that I think you're cutting yourself and selling yourself short if you don't watch the process and let it come to you a little bit and hear what people have to say. Right.
Well, absolutely. And here's the thing. Let's be honest. I love old style football, college football recruiting, how it was, maybe 5 years ago.
Yep.
We're not there anymore, right? The whole my word is my bond and committing recruitment. You said it perfectly as to what's going on. I'll say it, I'll take it a step further. It is 100% a business. And you need to treat it as a business, and you need to protect yourself, and you need to do what's best for you. Because just as you said, the school's going to do what's best for it. The coaches are going to do what's best for them. And so you need to do what's best for you. And so you need to find the best situation possible, because it is a business. And I mean, I'm sure some of these schools might know that some of their quarterbacks are already, licking their chops to get in the portal.
Yeah,
and
of course. And so
yeah,
you're trying to figure out as a parent, as a recruit, like what the best option is, right? And I think realistically, you need to have a place that you can go to that where it looks like you can get on the field within the first 2 years.
yes,
I think that's kind of the most important component of recruiting, right? Because if you get there and you're not playing in the first 2 years, far too many variables and things can happen that then put you out of the running to be the guy. Like Ty Simpson's is a kind of a fluke in this day and age, right? He stuck around through a coaching change, and now he's the starter, right?
That's old school football, right? You paid your dues, you redshirted by your junior year, I'm the guy, right? That doesn't happen anymore. If you're not the guy, as you say, within the first 2 years, guess what? They're going to free agency and they're going to get a guy.
Yep.
They're gonna plug in there, and there's your, and you're gonna be stuck where you're at.
Precisely. I mean, and then what happens? Like I was talking to a college coach the other day at a Power 4, and he was talking about like, okay, like what's the strategy? What's the strategy when you are a guy that goes to a big school, doesn't get on the field, has no film, and then he's going to try and get re-recruited through the
portal.
Yeah, portal. Like, right. So like what's your value versus the guy that goes to a G5 school or FCS, plays really well for first year 1 and 2, and now he's got great film and he's going to get the payday and come in and probably be a guy that leapfrogs you. Right?
Absolutely, which is why, and we hear it all the time, where guys feel as though, well, if I'm not going to a Power 4 school, then maybe football just isn't for me. With recruiting, they're upset with their recruit, man, hasn't gone. It's like, man, I'm telling you what, you have so much more opportunity than you have in the past to be able to, as you say, go to a smaller school, be that guy, kill it on the field, and they're going to come find you. Because that's all they're doing is constantly scouring the small FCS schools and other schools to look for guys who they can plug into their programs.
100%. I mean, I think that's the lesson learned, right? You go to the program you trust and you think you fit the best, and if you find that, you're lucky these days, right? And so many times, people go to the wrong place for the wrong reason, and they're thinking about things that really don't matter, right? Obviously the money can matter because it can become life-changing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also something that like you only get so many years to play college football, right? There's only so many years to play, and being on the field is important to many players. Some players it's actually not, right? Once they get the money, it's kind of the chase is over.
Yeah, some guys are just happy to be there.
And some guys, once they get the letter on the hat or the jersey or whatever, the helmet, they're done, right?
Yeah. So, just happy to be there. Yeah.
But yeah, I do think the recruiting landscape and where you're going out of high school is really not as important as it used to be, right? Unless you are a blue chip guy that's going to be like they need you, right? Like you're a guy that they're fighting for you. You're a top 50 guy at your position that comes to the top 30 or whatever it is.
They want to negotiate big money for you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's different, right? Because
totally different.
Because things go your way because of what, unless you get there and you're a complete bust, right? Or you're making bad decisions or you're a jerk or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is those guys do have a little bit different air they're breathing versus 95% of all other recruits.
Right. The guy's still on the climb. Yeah. On the climb.
Different.
So back to Rocco. So apparently he went down to UCF. So there's some pretty serious interest there. Has been a great program in the past, and we'll see what happens. I know, like I said, he also has that West Virginia offer, and I know that for a fact there are other schools
then you got to manage your commitment to your James Madison. A lot of times that'll get pulled or yanked or whatever. You don't know how they're going to do. So maybe, again, I don't know the story, but I'm sure that was managed ahead of time. Like, hey, look,
it was
back in the day. Like, I remember a kid, Gabe Kuhn. We could have him on. He's actually big.
Lafayette, Memphis.
Yep, big show down in Memphis. He's on a ESPN show down there. He has his own show, doing great. But he was presented with the situation where Barry Odom could not get a hold of his high school head coach. Mm-hmm. Barry Odom calls, says, "Hey, do you know Gabe Kuhn?" Like, he's one of our guys. So, lo and behold, they had a chance meeting, one day at Elite, and this is like during December or whatever it was. Like excuse me, it's probably January, and they want to bring him down on an official visit to Memphis. Okay.
Yeah.
So long story short, things happen. The coach at SIU basically said, "Hey, if you go, you're dead to us.
Right.
You go there or not, you're dead to us. Your offer's getting pulled."
Yep.
Okay. So Gabe and his father astutely figured out a way to go down there. And they didn't go as an official. They just went and visited the school to check it out. Right. So that way it didn't get reported. No one knew they were there. Right. And then he goes, loves it. They offer the whole nine. Crazy thing is, within a week, guess who left SIU?
The head coach.
The coach that told him not to freaking go.
Right.
Man, loyalty, respect, all that stuff. And then when it was for his turn to go to a bigger school, he had no problem leaving. Right.
It wasn't a two-way street.
No.
And I mean, that was the way back in the day, just as recently as 10 years ago. I remember coaches used to say, including Coach Pinkel, I remember him telling recruits, if you go on an official visit, you're decommitted from us. Right. And they kind of put it on them. They didn't say your offer's pulled. They said you're decommitted. You're not committed to us.
Yeah.
If you meaning, hey, so boom, we're back looking at our board, see who else we can bring in to replace you. And so it was a really, really touchy thing. And I mean, so luckily, parents and players have caught on a little bit. Although I got to tell you, Matt, I mean, I'm still really shocked at the number of parents that contact me. They love our podcast, by the way. They always, start off, "Love your podcast. We wish we'd have known. We wish we would have heard it years ago." Right? We're a little late in the game, but we appreciate the information now. And, because they were providing information to people that they didn't know about that would have really helped them and really would have helped a lot of recruits. And of course, the podcast, go to YouTube, like, share, subscribe, X, make sure that you watch it as well. And you definitely want to listen on KLIS 590 AM on Saturday mornings, Lou Information Station. So, it is a different climate. Rocco's story is going to be interesting, both with his recruitment and back to what we were talking about in the playoffs. They are one of those teams that you mentioned that are in a district that's, it's not going to be a pushover. So there's a few teams that they've already beaten, but they're in the same district with Rockhurst, St. Pius X, which has a lot of talent, and Fort Osage, which is a pretty solid team this year, and always plays them tough. I was at their game against Fort Osage last year. Played them tough, so it's going to be interesting, given the fact that their season schedule, but they can't help your season schedule, but they really didn't face super tough competition. And I know Rockhurst has a couple losses, but man, they are loaded with talent. St. Pius 10th is loaded with talent, and Fort Osage is a tough team. So which would you rather have? Would you rather have a schedule where you're just kind of rolling over everybody, or would you want those tough games in the season?
I think you kind of want a blend, right? You want the blend, rest, get your guys taken care of, get some momentum, get some younger guys playing. But yeah, I do think there needs to be some challenges. I mean, you look at East St. Louis, the formula they use, CBC uses it as well. They leave and go out of state so they can find people that are better to play. And, and Cardinal Ritter did the same thing. And so when they come back, right, and then you have maybe a loss or two, but, East St. Louis gathered a couple losses out state. So did Cardinal Ritter.
Yeah.
But they come back and they're pounding teams here that are supposed to be pretty good teams, right? So,
right.
I think that bodes well for those guys. I mean, again, do you have to do that? No, to be successful. I mean, it didn't affect Platte County last year, right? I mean,
no.
they pounded people all season long and then did the same in their run to state. So I don't know. I do think, I see so much banter and stuff like that going on, with teams saying, "Oh, you haven't played anybody, this and that," and then you play them, and then you play them and beat them.
Yeah.
And I guess the answer is yeah, I guess we still haven't played anybody. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's
right.
better than what they are.
Yeah.
Like their schedule is harder than what yours is. I think that's kind of interesting, right? I think that goes for coaches and players. But again, you can only play who's on your schedule, and
that's it. Plus, if you're playing people and you're beating them by 70 points, you're not just playing a whoever or just beating people.
To score 50 plus points in a high school football game,
right?
It ain't easy, man. Because especially you got to assume you're probably at like 36 points at half.
Yeah,
that means the clock's running in the second half, and you're clicking on all cylinders to score.
Correct.
I mean, it's correct. Like we had a running clock yesterday in our game and second half, and it's just a battle to get kids in the games, let alone score.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not trying to run the score up, but you're also trying to run your offense and defense to get the kids out there and let them play. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the toughest thing is I'm sure they've experienced that. Like they've got they know what they're doing. They know how to do it. They execute well, but again, it's not 70 points, 50 plus points in a high school game. I guess, a varsity game's a couple minutes longer, 8 minutes longer. So, that does actually help quite a bit for putting on points. But, as a freshman game, you're looking at 9 minutes,
right.
2 9-minute running quarters. I mean, shoot, that they're ready for that thing to be done at that point.
Right. So I mean, but Platte, again, not your average team. Besides Rocco, they have the talent. Adam Gisler is running back. Brooks Hall. They have two D1 tight ends in Brooks Hall and Jack Oots. And big time wide receiver who is pulling in offers similar now with Rocco. But the fewest amount of points that Platte County has scored all season is 46. 70 to nothing this past week, 63 to nothing the week before, 49 to 7, and 69 to 14 are their last 4 games, right? Before that, they dropped 60 on Topeka, Washburn, Rural, and the other ones are 56, 7, 54, 23 against a really good Green Valley team. So they have played, good teams. Smithville's good team. The Fort Osage team that I mentioned that, this year they beat by 46 to 7. So, so it's going to be really interesting. That Class 5, though, you have Cardinal Ritter, who you mentioned is going to be coming out of the other side.
They're coming up a big win over DeSmet. I mean, it was
huge.
A track meet, though. I mean, both defenses. I mean,
they took the night off
on one side, 50 something on the other. I mean, geez. I mean, it was a lot of scoring. I mean, a lot of scoring. So, but sometimes games are like that, man. You get in a shootout, and I mean, heck, the Big 12 does it every weekend.
Right.
So it happens all the time.
So here's the thing: Cardinal Ritter's schedule has been brutal. I mean, just, so, and you hope that you make it out of that, a little unscathed, not super beat up from playing so many tough teams. So that's something to watch. I know this Friday they're playing Luther North at North. So, that's how you close out your season.
Yeah, there's no love loss in that game.
No. That's
game. That is for sure.
That's gonna be something to watch. And then you have in Class 5, you also have Kirkwood, who's really coming on, really got it together, has put all the pieces together, and is really really rolling, and finishing strong. So I think that they're gonna be a team to really watch. They're 6-1 right now. They play Hazelwood Central. I have a feeling they're probably gonna put it on them pretty good.
Yeah.
To finish it out. Yeah. But Kirkwood is in District 2. They have Eureka and Rockwood Summit they got to get past to move on down the line.
That'll be a tough one. I think that will be that any one of those three teams is whoever's hottest and executes the best. I think
that's it. Yeah.
Kirkwood's probably got athletically, they're probably at top of the heap. They have a really good coaching staff, as does Summit, as does Eureka. So it should be fun to see how that one sorts out.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was at the Eureka Summit game and it was just, pound and grind, just smash it. So Kirkwood has a little probably, skill wise, a little better speed. Jabir Sloan, the Shore kid, Darian Brown is a running back who's really kind of come on, sophomore running back. Cooper Owens seems to be, finding his
right with the team.
Yeah, transfer from Fort Zumwalt South. You guys are should be interesting. I mean, you got a pretty tough Fort Zumwalt North team in your district.
Definitely Zumwalt. You got North and then North Point, both teams that are solid teams. So
Zumwalt South is no joke either. They've got some talent, right? And so you're in a tough district,
right? And then the winner gets to probably most likely play Cardinal Ritter. That's a tough one, right?
That's the prize. Well, who Cardinal Ritter has, they have to get past Ladue, who's had its ups and downs.
They're tough. They're tough.
Yeah.
On film against Hazelwood East, they're tough.
Yeah, they're a good team. And then Hazelwood East, Ritter, you guys play Hazelwood East this week.
They're a really good football team. They
you had a chance to scout them.
Yeah, they run the heck out of the ball. They pound the rock. And so throw a little bit, run a lot. Right. So should be fun.
They're smaller, but they're fast and super quick.
Yeah, well coached, execute.
Yes.
They look really good.
Yeah, Bobby Cole, who I mentioned before, just done a really, really good job with that program. So it's all coming up. Looking at how teams are stacking up. Of course, CBC still 8-0. The statewide press, statewide journalists have them as number 1. Blue Springs South, number 2. People don't have, you hear people talk about who's the best in the state, or the fan guys do their rankings or whatever. I don't think a lot of people know what's out there across the state. And so Blue Springs South is really, really rolling. They've got it in every position, right? They got the talent. They got the quarterback, Aiden Wilholm, who's committed to Rice, but another guy who schools are taking another look at, right? It's that time of the year. They've got the running game. They're just loaded with receivers. I mean, Gary Hill, a prominent guy who's getting D1 looks and offers. Defensively, though, there's a kid named Prince Goldsby. Remember that name? He just picked up his first 2 offers a couple of days ago from Missouri State and from Sacramento State. Our old buddy Kyle Wagner.
Yep.
Recruiting him. 6'4", 6'5", 210, 215. Shot out of a cannon edge rusher, right? Who's gonna really kind of blow up probably in the offseason. They've got the Jaden Rickberg. I mean, they're just loaded every position. So them, yeah. I mean them and CBC and Nixa, just
with JP, the teams that have quarterbacks that are mobile are the ones that are really the dangerous ones into these playoffs. Because you just mentioned the top two teams at 6A, both their quarterbacks can throw, but they also run extremely well. Like Nick McClellan runs extremely well. He was a difference maker against SLU. Wilhelm, he can run, right? He can throw, he can run, but he is dangerous when he runs.
Yeah.
So the guys that are fast, the guys that can move, I mean, they go. Yeah, Nick's the same thing.
Same thing. Adam McKnight, same type of guy, but he's actually more. He could be He can be your pro guy, or he can run the ball.
Those are hard to find.
Yeah, big time. He is. He does. He has a couple offers. I'm pretty sure he has Missouri State for sure, and then I think he has another one. But you know how it is with quarterbacks, and that's something we can touch on, if not now, another time. It is recruiting has really changed for quarterbacks. I mean, back in the day, they were all over really good quarterbacks. Now with the portal, you see what's happening. Whereas, like with a Rocco Marriott, who's just, I think he's one of a few guys just set a record for having over 100 touchdown passes in his high school career. And here he is having to wait towards the end to have these bigger schools come calling. A guy like Brett Ottensmeyer, we're very familiar with his recruitment. A lot of frustration there. He's committed to Missouri State, right?
Which is a great place to be.
Absolutely.
The reality of it is he should have had probably 10 more schools to choose from. And maybe he still chooses Missouri State because the fit is really good for him there.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, it's really frustrating when you see, like, when you know how it was a number of years ago and what it is like now.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. And so, like, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Like, they can now be a little bit more discerning with high school quarterbacks. But what I do think is really interesting is, like, look at Mizzou as an example. JP, I went, was there at the Alabama game. I watched, number one and number two both, throw.
Mm-hmm.
With no disrespect to number three, because Sam Horn is out, but hurt. But no disrespect to 3 or 4. I watched them throw, and it's very clear that they're not guys that are there that that were there on scholarship that probably meet the standard, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, point being, the reason I bring that up has nothing to do with those guys. It is that what the recruiting. What the transfer portal has done has thinned the herd and spread more guys out throughout college football, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Mizzou really has 2 quarterbacks right now that they probably feel comfortable putting in a game, right? And the third one's hurt. But in the past, they could hoard talent.
Yes.
And so, that's why they're having 1 or 2 more walk-on quarterbacks than normal, because they need guys in for practice, for scout team.
Yep.
Guys, so it's just different than how it used to be. Whereas at some places there's 2 or 3, freshmen coming in, 2 freshmen at least sometimes coming in and sitting and waiting.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore.
No, and you can't do that. You can't come in and wait your turn. You're really going to have to get it going, see the field, be on the field. The freshman quarterback that they have right now, Pribula, has another year, right?
I think
so. What'd you say? How many? I
think he's got 1 or 2.
1 or 2. So, if you're Zollers, it's like, do you want to wait a couple more years before you see the field? Or are you going to start looking for greener pastures? Because I'm sure there's people out there who'd be happy to take you. And so that's just the whole thing of it. So if that happens, that winds up happening. If the coaching staff gets wind of that, then they're going to start looking for these guys. But that's just the thing. The quarterback, high school quarterbacks, which is the most important position, let's face it, whether it's high school or college ball, it is your most important position. These guys have become guys where they can put on a shelf and wait, right? Because of the transfer portal. You kind of put them on a holding pattern and wait and see. And it's crazy to me that they're wait and see recruits.
100%.
And so it's
also steal them out of their backyard before they know it.
Yep. and that's it. And another guy, Brendan Shashin, who you've trained, he's another guy. St. Dominic's 8-0. He's having a fantastic season. He's a legit D1 guy. I'm not up to date on his recruitment.
He's Truman State and a few others. Sam Dean, same boat. So you got
same boat.
You got two guys in the state of Missouri that there's Division I quarterbacks that are, to my knowledge, that are, I guess, well, three with Wilhelm. So you got Rocco, Ottensmeyer, and Wilhelm. Those
Wilhelm.
Three.
Right.
So
you also, Shashin is a
oh yeah, 100%. No, he is. My
right.
point being is those guys, he and Sam Dean do not have the offers, right? Like there's no spots for them right now. That could change.
Right.
And so like the cool thing though is like say a James Madison, right? They come up on the short end of the stick of Rocco. Well, that means they're going to go scour, either the transfer portal or they're going to look for another high school guy, right? Mm-hmm. So that opens the door to somebody else, right? It's a chain reaction, which it sucks for them because after putting that time and energy in. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying it does. That's the kind of stuff that does, starts a chain reaction. Next thing you know, there's some Josh Allen-esque kid sitting off to the side that's been sending emails and information out for months.
It's been on offer.com.
Yeah. You know what? That's the other thing is, JP, like there's so many kids right now that I think have the hope and the prayer of putting out a Twitter highlight, Rich, like that is great. Everybody's doing it. Scroll through your feed. There's so many guys, right? You and I, so many kids. We get so many.
And you should do it. Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yep.
But you also need to be sending emails to these college coaches, which, I was talking to a guy, a recruiting coordinator the other day at a Big Ten school. And he was like, hey, Matt, he said he thinks he gets probably 75 a day emails. They said what he typically does is puts them in a folder and then traces back through them for reference, right? So like the name comes up, or sends it over to the GAs to have those guys go through it and see if there's anybody worth looking at, right? And so I just think there's so much to it that people are ignoring and just hoping and praying, and then they feel disenfranchised by the process, which you're gonna feel anyway because it's a tough process.
Absolutely.
You're not doing yourself any favors at all by just sitting there and waiting, because if your kid's an 8th grader, okay, fine. If he's a freshman, you need to start sending stuff out and getting used to doing that, right? And I'll tell you one of the cool things on our getoffered.com now is on our web app is you can actually see, JP, when they open it, when it was delivered, when they opened it, and if they click on your link. Right. So if they watched it. And so that's pretty cool because now you get this ability to say, okay, at least I know they watched it. Now, the tough thing is you're not getting to get anything back from them that says, hey, great.
Right.
You can get some random messages, right? Like you want good things like, hey, fill this questionnaire out for us. That's a good sign, right? Hey, would you like to come to a game day visit? Stuff like that. That's a good sign.
Right. But it's an added tool in the process. It's going to help. It's going to help you. And I'm telling you right now, all of it is for reference, right? Scouting service, a guy like me, they just use it for reference. They're not going to be like, hey, yeah, okay, JP Rock, that's the guy. We're here you go. He's getting an offer. And anybody does not work that way. Anybody who tells you I'm going to get you an offer or I'm going to get you this, it's just not true.
They're lying.
Everything is.
They're just taking people's money and they're lying to you because, JP, there's 2 or 3 people that I've read in the last year that have been charged, fraud crimes because what they were doing to people is just exactly what you described.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, go. You'll pay me this money. I'll get your kid a game day visit. Pay me this money.
Yeah.
Get your kid. I'll get his. We'll take a visit to this.
We'll get an offer. Which
I'll
means
get him an offer.
Right. Which visits mean nothing. But I have colleges and college coaches. I have a pretty good reputation. They will reach out to me, wanting to know about guys and stuff like that. But it's all just for reference. They're and I have a pretty good word. I have a pretty good track record, but it doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, it's going to be their choice. It's going to be the staff choice. But, so we're reference guys, right? We're guides to help. We're tools to help. And that's it. And so as a parent and a player, you need to know that. You need to know that, because, man, I'm telling you what, I'm seeing people out of the woodwork offering advice and apps. But you gotta go with reputable people and people who have a track record and people who know what's going on.
I would far rather my child's name come out of your mouth about talking about him to a college coach than some guy who's running a list of names of kids off that he doesn't have a personal relationship, doesn't even know who they are really.
Yeah.
Or he's being paid by them to promote them, and that becomes kind of tough sell too, right? Because so many people think that like somebody's word is going to carry
automatically. Yeah.
And let me tell you, I've been around so many guys. Listen, Cody Schrader, great example. A friend of mine is a player personnel guy in the NFL. Okay, his son played against Cody Schrader in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Schrader, he spotted him. Was like, this guy's a dude.
Yep.
He made a few phone calls to people. Okay, this guy does it at the highest level of the game. He's like, yeah, they didn't. No one offered him. This guy is an NFL player personnel guy.
Yeah.
Who's been in the league for 20 years, who's been at the college level as well, and they still don't listen to him.
And that's the key, because I got to tell you what, I knew Cody Schrader was a dude. I was telling everybody Cody Schrader was a dude. I was telling everybody Brett Gabbert was a dude. I can't. The list is endless. But you know what? All you can do is advise and be a reference and help as much as possible. But at the end of the day, you're not going to make anybody listen. It's like everyday life. You can't make your kids listen all the time. You can't make your spouse or girlfriend listen all the time, or boyfriend or husband. That's just the nature of the game. We didn't get a chance to talk about Mizzou, man. I'll tell you what, it is the fastest 48. We're running on. We're down to seconds here. What do you got going on?
Hey, real quick shout out, Jameson Honey, offer to Northwestern.
Yes, absolutely. Great Jameson Honey. Another guy. Somebody we need to talk about another day.
But yeah, hit us up at elitefootball.net. If you're looking for recruiting help, getoffered.com.
Yep, that's
OFFRD. OFFRD.com.
Yep. Great time as always. Catch us on football360show.com for everything Football 360 Show. JP Rock MO on X, and JP Rock's got you on Instagram. Matt, did you give yours?
Yeah, Elite Football on Twitter and Elite Football Academy on Instagram.
Yep. Been great. Everybody enjoy your week and stay safe, stay healthy, and everybody come back with a win. See ya.